so I was offered the job back at the county attorney's office and took it. So then for the next 7 years, I was prosecuting mainly violent crimes. So I prosecuted most of the domestic abuse cases. It was before stalking was a crime initially, and when it was adopted, I prosecuted some of the early stalking cases. I prosecuted a lot of the sex abuse cases. I prosecuted murder cases. And I also supervised the law students who were prosecuting most of the simple misdemeanors, so speeding tickets, fifth-degree theft, things like that. And I really loved feeling like there was a purpose, there was a reason I went to law school. I was going to help people. At some point, somebody left the office and there was an opening, a chance to do the civil work for the county, and so I switched from doing criminal to doing the civil work, and there I dealt with collective bargaining agreements, negotiated those, I worked on different contracts, I represented the conservation board, represented the board of supervisors, I got to draft the human rights ordinance for Johnson County, got to do a lot of other kinds of areas of the law that were really interesting. The county attorney is much more than just a prosecutor, and there's that whole civil side of it, which was a really exciting thing for me to get to know new areas of the law. Because as much as I enjoyed criminal law, I kind of knew that area of the law more, and I was ready to kind of learn some other things. So doing the civil work, though, come on in.
Sorry.
It's comfy. Come on in. Doing the civil work for the county, though, I have to admit, I missed the criminal things. I wasn't in court as much. I always liked being in court. You don't get that same feeling on representing the treasurer and collecting taxes as you do when you're representing a case or presenting a case on sex abuse. And so when Pat White retired as county attorney, I decided to run. I was talked into it really by coworkers and other people because I hadn't had an interest really in being a county attorney. I really enjoyed what I was doing, but it was a great opportunity to kind of set new policy. And so when I took over as county attorney, it was very interesting that Pat White kind of quickly disappeared from the scene, which was very nice of a former county attorney to not be kind of hanging out and telling me what to do or anything. And it gave me an opportunity to try lots of new things in the county attorney's office. So as county attorney then, I knew there was a lot of different issues that I was concerned about that I wanted to see addressed, and so I started a lot of different programs. I went for about a year worth of meetings in Cedar Rapids to work on developing the drug court that we have. And what that is for people who have a really serious drug or alcohol problem, hence that they are kind of constantly involved in the criminal justice system, may have been charged with robbery or burglary. We have a lot of burglaries and thefts from people who are stealing to support their drug habit. And so they frequently don't have a lot of support from family, or they've lost that support from their family, and really are kind of at wit's ends, and they don't have much going for them. Our drug court program is designed to really work intensively with the people who have these problems and are involved in the criminal justice system, to get them so that they have a job, that they have some stability in their life, that maybe they're back in school, but really to kind of get their lives back together and deal with their substance abuse problems. So that's been a really exciting thing. And so after working for many, many months on getting that program started and figuring out everything and getting the 6th Judicial District Department of Correctional Services, which is probation parole, to work on it, getting the judges on board, we finally got that started in Johnson County after I became county attorney. Also started our Rocket Docket program, which is for people who have a license suspended for not paying their fines. We get them in, we've worked it out, so all the law enforcement agencies set their initial appearances on a certain date. We've worked it out with the court, so they're there, and we work out payment plans with people so they can pay off these old fines. We have so many people who really are low income, and they get a $250 fine, and it's just not gonna work in their budget. So the DOT suspends their license because they haven't paid that fine. So we work with them on getting those paid off through payment plans and get their license back, and then dismiss that new driving under suspension charge. That's been really successful, and I've been really proud of that program too. Started the marijuana diversion program going on 4 years ago, so that people who have first offense marijuana charges can go in and do an educational program. If they need substance abuse, they may have other substance problems too. Gets evaluated, and then if they complete that program, then we dismiss those charges, and they don't have that on their record. We also started recently a family treatment court, which is for families where there's children in need of assistance. So Department of Human Services has removed the children because they're not safe in the home because of the parents' substance abuse problem. We work intensively with getting those parents to get the treatment they need so that they can actually get the kids back in the home sooner and successfully so that Department of Human Services can get out of their lives, basically. So that's been another program we just started about a little more than a year and a half ago, and did that on basically a shoestring without much money, but it's been really successful and have gotten a lot of support for that. One of the other things you probably heard about in the last couple of years is that our jail has been overcrowded for some time, and so one of the things that we've been working on actually for a number of years is trying to deal with that. And one of the things that we've also seen in the last few years is how, because of mental health funding being stopped at kind of the national and state level, and a lot of closing of institutions, which was a really good thing to get rid of the big institutions for mental illness, unfortunately that money was not put into the local services that are really needed. I can say from having worked at Psych Hospital years ago that there certainly is a need for a lot of local things, and there isn't a lot of money in mental health, and so many people weren't getting the treatment they needed would end up in the criminal justice system. So the county started funding a position about 10, 12 years ago. Now it's 2 positions that we have, and it's actually not housed in our mental health division anymore, but through our sheriff's office. We have 2 social workers who work with people who are in jail, who have mental health or substance abuse problems, get them hooked up with services, get them hooked up if they need medications, get them signed up so that they can get their medications paid for through mental health disability services or whatever, so that they can actually get out of jail, get out of the criminal justice system, and go on and have successful lives. Worked with that program then to start what we call our jail populations meeting a couple of years ago, and got an additional staff person to help to cover that. And my staff meets with somebody from the Jail Alternatives Program, one of these social workers, somebody from the jail, somebody from the Public Defender's Office, and now one of our District Associate Court judges. We have a meeting every week where we go through everybody who's in the jail, see who we can get out of jail, who has a mental health problem that we've now gotten treatment set up for, who has a substance abuse problem and they needed to go in for inpatient treatment, now we have